All right. Sit nice and tall, cross-legged, back on the heels, any way that works for you this morning. Close your eyes, step into your breath. My goal is not to add a lot of extra words today. Let the poses speak for themselves. The first pose is to begin right here in your seat. Take a few more breaths to welcome yourself for this practice. Lift the arms up to the sky. As you do that, look up, open the eyes. And let the right hand go down, reach over. Inhale, both arms back up to the sky. Exhale, let the left hand go down, reach up and over. And inhale, both arms lift up. Palms together, center of the chest. Come on over to all fours. Look at the hands, separate the fingers nice and wide. Put most of the pressure into your thumb and first finger. And stretch to downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. In down dog, bend your knees, pedal out the feet. Move the head a little bit yes, a little bit no. Breathe in and out of the nose through this practice, and also breathe out through the mouth when it feels right for you. In other words, breathe in ways that help guide you along in this movement. Bend your knees a lot and walk up to your hands. So you're at the front of the mat in a bent knee forward fold. Let the upper body drape over. Hold on to your elbows and sway a little bit from side to side. Try to relax your head even more. Ever so slowly now roll up to standing. Roll through each vertebrae of the spine. Roll the shoulders up and back a couple of times. Roll the shoulders forward and down. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Interlace the hands. Flip the palms, thumb and first finger, push up. Look straight ahead. Give it a couple of breaths right here. We call this one summit pose. So right at the top of the mountain. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to the mat. Interlace the hands behind your back now and lift everything that you can up. It's a big ask, hands interlaced. Feel free to keep them open instead, especially here at the top of the practice. Release it down and press back to child's pose. Walk the hands over to the right side. Get that good reach and pull from left fingertips back to the left hip. Walk the hands across the center and over to the second side. And then back into the middle, come up to all fours. Do a few rounds of cat and cow. In cow pose, pull the chest forward, eyes up, let the tailbone kind of wag side to side as it lifts. And then exhale, press down through the hands and knees to round the belly, drop the head, feel strength come into the abdomen. One more round like that. And then from a neutral spine, just swing the right foot forward so that you come into a low lunge. Pick up the back knee and lift the right hand high. We're right into these sun salutations, but we're taking this first one easy so that the body feels right going into it. Step it all the way back to all fours, and then left foot forward, back knee up, and lift the left hand high. Lower the left hand, lower the back knee, around to all fours, and then downward facing dog now. Lift the right leg up into the air, three-legged dog, and step it all the way forward to your low lunge. Down dog lunge, so both hands to the inside, spin the back heel down, lift the hips more up and back so that you get that weight into the back leg, and then walk the hands out. You can walk the hands forward or more off to the side today. Do try to keep that front knee waning closer to the pinky toe side of the foot rather than the big toe side. All right, as you bring the hands around the front foot, step back to down dog. Left leg high, three-legged dog. And step the foot all the way through. Hands to the inside, spin back heel down. Again, give some weight and presence into the back leg. And then walk the hands out for your down dog lunge. No worries about having much weight at all in the hands. Keep it in the legs. Big broad hip opener here. Okay, now as we walk the hands in, step forward, both feet to the front of the mat. Sweep all the way up, lift the arms to the sky. And then crescent, hold on to your right wrist and lean to the left side. Come to your middle, hold on to the second wrist. Think up and over. Nicely done. We'll start to speed up our actions just a bit here. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to the mat. Again, choice of hands open or bound behind your back as you lift into the belly down back bend. Release and change to downward facing dog. You can press back first or just straight up into that push-up position. And then everyone down dog. Okay, step the right foot in between your hands. Come up to high lunge. So hands to the waist, lift the torso, and then arms overhead. Again, hold on to the left wrist and reach to the right. Come back to your center. We're going to add the second twist right here. Left elbow to the outside of the knee. Tone and turn through the belly. For more stability, the back knee can go down to the mat. Also lifting the back leg higher, though still challenging, can offer more stability. Untwist, set the hands down. Step back to plank now and add one push-up and then downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward into your lunge. Come up to high lunge. Hold on to the right wrist and lean to the left. We want to feel this stretch through the side length of the body and into the front of the back thigh, so hip flexor. Okay, take it into a deeper twist, right elbow to the outside of the left knee, palms together. Tone and turn the abdomen. And I have the elbow hooked here, but it could also be more lifted in space. Find what works for you. Untwist, set the hands down, step back to plank. Hold plank or add the push-up. Downward facing dog. For this round, we hold down dog for a couple of breaths right here. Actively press the hands down and forward. Feel the tips of the shoulder blades squeeze in. Tone in the abdomen. Imagine squeezing your inner thighs towards each other and then pushing the back of the thighs further to the back of your space. Okay, next breath, look to your hands. Step, jump, or walk to the front end of your yoga mat. Inhale, half lift. Forward fold and stand all the way up, arms to the sky. Now take your left hand, hold on behind your right upper arm bone. So it's just a little bit more of an ask in the upper back as you take the crescent. If this is too restrictive, if you're simply pushing your head forward in the forearm, instead of being able to push back, hold on to that wrist again. Come to your middle and switch sides. Hold on to the other upper arm bone, up and over. Remember, we want to lean our head back, not let the arm push it forward. As you find the center, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down to the mat. And again, third time's a charm. Palms back, keep them open or interlaced. As you lower down, change to downward facing dog. As many or as few movements as needed to get it there. Step your right foot forward, high lunge. We're taking just half a breath count. And then hands go right back down. Step back, add the push-up or hold plank. Down dog. Step the left foot forward, come up to your high lunge. Half a breath. Lower the hands down, step back, add the push-up, downward facing dog. Breathe right here. And we'll take it back to three-legged dog, so right leg again high, three-legged dog. This time pull the knee in towards the chest, hover forward and plank and hold. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then step through. Place the back heel down, come all the way up to warrior 1. So hips, shoulders mostly face the front of the mat, arms overhead. Bend the front knee deeply, keep the back leg as straight as you can with the outside edge of the foot flat on the mat. Go ahead, stay here, or add the interlace of the hands behind your back and a lifted chest. We're staying upright. One more breath. And then release the hands on either side of the front foot. Step back to down dog. You get a breath. Left leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Knee to chest, hover forward. Again, hold for 5, 4, you've got this. 2, 1, step it through. Spin the back heel down, line up about heel to heel. Back toes turn in a lot to help keep the shoulders, hips around towards the front. Full warrior 1, give it a breath or two. And then either stay with arms like this or interlace. Hey, flip that other favorite finger in front as you interlace the hands behind your back. Should feel just a little bit funky. Hands bound, staying with the lifted chest today. And then release, everybody, hands on either side of the front foot and step forward. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, arms to the sky. And release the arms down by your side. Mountain pose, take it in. Warm ups, check it off. Moving on to standing pose set. Take a nice wide stance on your mat. Use the long edge of your mat. You can face either way. Turn your right toes out. Look out over the right fingertips. Triangle pose. Keep your limbs as straight as possible. Hinge towards the right. Lower the right hand down to your leg, the floor, a yoga block if you're using it. Top arm up to the sky. Keep the shoulders open. Keep the hips open to the side here. Feel free to change your gaze for a challenge to look up towards the sky. Inhale, stand all the way up. Flip your feet. Back toes turn in a little bit. Front toes all the way out. Hinge and reach to the left side. Left hand again drops down to your shin, the floor, or a yoga block. Top arm up to the sky. We want the back hip to stay mostly lifted here and rotated open. And then inhale and come back up to standing. Turn the feet back to the first side. So we're just going side to side here. Gaze out again over your right fingertips and bend the right knee. I apologize in advance if I ever get the rights and lefts mixed up. Sometimes I'm mirroring, sometimes I'm not, and I occasionally forget. All right, right elbow to the knee, left arm palm down overhead. Reach, reach, reach. As long as we're getting in both sides, that's all that matters. You can stay here elbow to knee or take it a little bit lower, fingertips to ground or yoga block. In this extended side angle, Utthita Parsva Konasana. All poses and shapes that we know pretty well. Come back through Warrior Two. Straighten the front leg and turn the feet. Look out over the left fingertips, bend the left knee. Sit towards a 90-degree angle from the hip to the knee down to the inner ankle. Sometimes it takes a little bit of working in, dynamically in and out until you find where's your sit point today. Left elbow to the knee, top arm palm down overhead. Work with your breath. Nicely done. Stay with it. Again, go to the lower form if you'd like. Use the abdomen, nice strong strength in the core to lift you back to Warrior Two. Straighten the leg, turn the toes parallel to one another. Wide-legged forward fold. We're not staying here long. We're using it more as a transition. Look back towards your right foot and turn to a low lunge. Go for a straight and then a bent leg a few times. Just rock forward and back here. No wrong way to do this. From here, we're going to use a little bit of this momentum. Don't overthink it. Try out half moon pose. Balance on your right leg, right hand. Lift your left leg, left arm up to the sky. Go for it. See what happens. Give it 2 breaths. And then lower right back down into that low lunge. Flip your sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. And rock again. Back and forth. Bend and straighten the front knee. And then think, just stay in the flow. And step forward and up, half moon pose. Give it a try. Balance on left hand, left foot. Lift the right leg, right arm. Forward fold at the top of your mat. Bring the right leg beside the left, standing forward fold. Bend the knees as much as necessary to make all 10 fingers touch the mat. Good time to let some air out through the mouth. Okay, one-legged standing balance work here. Bring the hands to the waist. Point the elbows up, stand up. Full and confident here. Pull the right knee up into the chest. If you need to move around in your space to be able to hold on to a wall, feel free to. Okay, hold on to the pinky toe side of that foot with your hand. And stretch the leg as straight as it'll go straight out in front of you and then out to the side. As straight as it can go, meaning it might have a bent knee here. Other hand can go anywhere that helps to keep your balance. Up to the sky, out to the side, or on the waist. Bring it all the way back down, stand on 2 feet. So we're trying to just step right into things. Don't overthink it today. Left knee up. Arm goes to the inside, but try to hold on to the outside of the foot. Stand up as tall as you can, and the leg only has to go as straight as it'll go. Don't overdo it here. Effort, but not too much. Take it out to the side. That's why we call it a practice. We get to try it again and again, each time a new beginning. Stand on 2 feet, shake it out. Utkatasana is your chair pose. Bend the knees, sit down into the thighs, so 2 feet get to stay on the ground for a moment. Rejoice in that by lifting the arms up a little bit higher. Look past your fingertips if possible. Keeping that much length and openness in the spine and chest. Hinge at the hips so you're more in a T shape, or maybe we could call this an L shape right now. And then we'll add the T by tapping the right foot back behind us and lift the right leg as high as you can, like warrior 3. Keep the left knee bent to a degree that it helps you keep the hips square. Go to a straighter standing leg as hamstrings and low back allow. And then tap the right toes back down. Feet come together. Stand up and relax the arms down by your side for a moment. Second side chair pose. Start it out. Utkatasana. Chair pose, Utkatasana, translated as fierce pose. It's not supposed to be easy. Hinge at the hips, think parallel torso to the ground, nice long spine. Tap the left toes behind you. They stay on the ground, or lift the leg as high as it goes. Squeeze those glutes like crazy. We've got this. Straighter standing leg as works. keeping the hips square. Bring the leg back in, stand mountain pose. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Keep the flow going. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down to your mat. First cobra of the class. Press down through your hands and feet. Peel the chest up. Let it feel good. Don't come up so high that it's difficult. Stay lower as it feels right. Push back to child's pose. And then change to downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up, three-legged dog. Like we did a bit before, pull the knee into the chest, hover forward. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step the foot all the way through into the low lunge. We're coming into twisted triangle pose. You have to step the back foot in, but not a lot, like 1 foot at the max. Spin the back heel down, hands to the waist, make both legs straight. Like we just did in Warrior 3, try to have the torso parallel to the ground and reach both arms out in front of you. That's when that sweat starts dropping from the forehead again, right? Pull the right hip up and back, left hip around and down. Now drop the left hand down. You pick which side of your foot it drops to. Right hand up to the sky. This is one of those, if you're using blocks, you definitely want it here underneath that hand. Right arm up, up, up. Forever one of the hardest poses, I think. Bring the hands to the waist. Lift the torso all the way upright. Interlace the hands behind your back. Keep 2 straight legs and lift the chest, similar to where we were at the beginning of class. 2 straight legs this time though. And then release, little bend in both knees so you can step forward and start over, second side. Atta Yogahour. And now we begin. Just let it start anew with each flow. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down, lift the chest, cobra. We want to feel this in our upper back. Squeeze the glutes to protect the low back. And then change to down dog. And lift the left leg high, 3-legged dog. Knee to chest, hover forward. We're holding straight arms, straight arms, straight arms. Hold for 2, 1, and then step the foot through. Slightly shorter stance as you do that. Spin the back heel down, line up heel to heel, like you would in Warrior 1. Hands to the waist, make the left leg straight and keep the torso about parallel to the floor. Try to pull your left hip up and back, your right hip around and down, so those front anterior hip points end up pointed both down to the yoga mat. Okay, both arms out in front. This is a lot of work, a lot of sustained core strength. Let's drop the right hand down, take it to the big toe side to make it more doable and accessible. Still hard. Take it to the pinky toe side if you've got the room and space. Slowly rotate through the torso and keep lifting the entire left arm high to the sky. It's got to take from the shoulder through, not just the hand. Bring both hands back to the waist. Push down through the feet to build the torso upright. This is where you interlace the hands behind your back. Try that second favorite finger in front. and lift. Can you make the left leg straight too? It's a lot of balance and control. Push down through the front big toe, the back outer heel. And then neutral. Bend both knees to step to the front. This practice starts to get lower to the mat now. Forward fold. Plank pose. Forearm plank. Move down to the forearms. You can do toes or knees. Hold forearm plank. Change to forearm lunge. So that might mean straight from your toes, swing that right leg forward. You're down low the whole time. For most, it means a little bit more like come up, swing the foot, steady yourself, and find if you can go lower. The important thing here is not how we're getting into the pose right now, but find your best version of forearm lunge and give it a go for about 4 more breaths. You know what feels right for your body. Trust it. Stay with it. Okay, second side. Again, get to it however it works best for you. End up with the left foot forward, right leg back. Squeeze the inner knee to the outer shoulder on the front side of the body there. Everyone, crawl back up to your hands. Step back to a full plank. Ever so slowly, this transition does count. Lower down to the belly. Go slow, 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 and then release. Bow pose. Bend both knees. Options here. Reach the hands back. Hold on to the air. Reach back. Hold on to one foot. Reach back. Hold on to both feet at the same time. In your chosen bow pose, lift, lift, lift the feet high, lift the chest. You have stretching shoulders forward and knees back. You get 2 chances at this, so if you're going the one leg at a time, the second side will come up in a few moments. Lower it all the way down, press back to child's pose. Change to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, we go to side plank. Balance on the right hand, outer edge of the right foot. Again, choices. Step the left foot forward, stack the foot, or lift the top leg high. Release and do the second side. Balance on your left hand, outer edge of the left foot. Step the right foot forward for more of an IT band stretch. Easier balance. Stack the feet for bigger challenge. Lift the right leg up. And then everyone goes back to downward facing dog. Come forward to plank pose. Roll to the front of the feet. If you're like, oh, hell no, don't do it. The front of the feet work, then drop the hips down and forward, but still lift through the chest. Think shoulders up and back to get to up, dog. In up dog, ideally it's just hands in front of the feet on the yoga mat. This is a pose of strength. And then you have to roll back over your feet. Everyone lift to downward dog. And guess what? We're doing that side plank again, but this time you're gonna step behind. So I like left hand on the right side of the mat, stack the feet there so that I've got room behind me on the yoga mat to work with. Right hand high. You could, of course, just step off of your yoga mat. Step the right foot behind you. Wild thing pose. If you bend both knees, it should give you easier leverage to twist the hips. Think matrix style, up towards the sky. And then slowly straighten the left leg and the right arm. Looks like a back bend. To get out of it, you could simply sit down and think, okay, I got to do this to the second side. Then you walk the right hand to the left side of the mat, so there's room behind you to work. Find your side plank. Look down the whole time. Step the top leg behind you. Good, A into the pose. Or bend the knees, twist the hips and shoulders, look up. Straighten the right leg. Lift the left arm overhead as if it's trying to reach down to the right hand. To get out of the pose, find down dog, whether it's sitting all the way down to your butt first and untwisting, or going right there. And I promised 2 bow poses. Here's the second one. Lie down onto your belly. Bend both knees, reach back again. Hold the air. Hold the second leg if you did a one-sided pose. Or hold both feet again. If you've already held both feet and you're looking for more challenge, hold your ankles, flex your feet, and lift from there. It's a little deeper back bend ask. Let it all go, press back, enjoy child's pose. Like a real welcome thanks for that section of strong work. A couple more breaths here in child's pose. Okay, and then we change completely to sit down onto our butt. Stretch the legs out in front of you. Hold on to your right foot in both hands and pull the knee back behind the line of your torso the best you can. Lift your right heel higher than the line of your shoulder and then try to wrap your right arm to the inside. It's that backpack strap leg that we do so often. Hand down, clamp the right foot. Remember, and now we begin. So if every other attempt of this pose hasn't worked, it doesn't mean that it can't now. Think of it, beginner's mind, both hands down. What can you do to try to get your butt off of the ground? And then if your butt's on the ground, can you lean back and get your extended heel off the ground? Usually this one works easier. Okay, with seat down, heel lifted, cross at your ankles. Squeeze the knees into your shoulder. And then if you're leaned a little forward, can you pick your seat up? Maybe extend the legs out to the side, Ashtavakasana, 8-pointed pose. Come back down, unloop the pretzel, and shake it out. So think stage by stage, but also keeping in mind, hey, that's sort of the end-ish posture. We did like forearm lunge. I said it doesn't matter how you get there. Where's that shape for you? So if you know some different tricks of the trade, try it, see what works. I like to start with the backpack strap, getting the leg as high as possible. You can already have one seat off of the ground. Pull back as you lift the seat up, heel up. Cross the ankles, whether you're already lifted or still on your bottom. And then shoot the legs out to the side. You can create the whole shape lying down onto the mat. And then you just shake yourself out of that pretzel and get the legs back out in front of you. Soles of the feet together, point the knees out to the side. Hold on to your feet or your ankles and sit tall. Rock a little bit side to side, or let the torso kind of move around in a circular motion. Go the opposite way if you're circling. Extend the legs straight out in front of you again. Hands out, shoulder height. Lean about halfway back and lift the legs up. I did that all the hard way. You could do it with bent knees to make it more doable. Boat pose. Hold boat pose here. Work with your breath, but stillness in the body for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lie down onto your back. You choose, sit on your hands to make leg raises most doable, or take the hands behind your head for more difficulty. Everyone, legs straight up in the sky. Let's start with the more doable version. One leg at a time goes down and up. More difficult there, glue the heels together, 2 legs move as one. Lift the head and shoulders up, give that a try. Stay with it or don't. Let the legs be that first motivating factor here. Try to slow down the movement of the legs. Pull your navel back towards the spine the whole time. If you start to notice the belly really arching and lifting up off of the ground, don't let your legs go quite as low. We're here 3 more leg lifts. 1, 2, and 3. Pull your knees into the chest. From here, we're going all the way up and over to downward facing dog. So you're going to rock yourself to a seat, around to all 4s, and then press to downward facing dog. Kind of a fancy way to get us into camel pose. So I want you to bring the knees right back down. Come up to kneeling. If you need to pad the knees, you can fold the yoga mat in half so you have a little more padding under the knees. Toes tucked for this one today. Hands at the waist with your thumbs moving towards each other. At the back, squeeze the elbows in. Look to where the wall and ceiling meet one another. Take a breath. And then try looking up to the ceiling without dropping the head back. Squeeze your butt so you feel the strength in your hands. Stay there for your camel pose, or one hand at a time takes to the same heel. Try pushing your hips forward As you look up and curve over the upper back, a little more room. Go to flat feet instead of tucked toes. And then walk the hands one at a time back to the sacrum and lift to neutral. Come over to all fours and then back to downward facing dog. We're using this dog pose like a little neutralizer in between. Okay, another back bend here. I want you to lie down onto your back. Bridge pose. Take the soles of your feet to the mat. Point the knees up to the sky. Push your feet, shoulders, head down onto the mat and lift your hips up. Hands can either hold the edges of your yoga mat. I often like to just bend the elbows like little bookends around the belly, or interlace your hands underneath you. We've done a lot of interlace, so it might feel like a nice little end there. Bridge pose is Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Stay here for a few more breaths. Keep lifting your hips, keep squeezing the glutes. And then release the hands, lower the hips down. Cross your right ankle over the left thigh, point the knee out to the side. In this figure 4 shape, pull the left leg in. Keep the hands along the side, or you can thread them through to hold behind the left thigh, or even all the way on top of the left shin. As you unthread the hands, cross your right knee all the way over. So think eagle legs. And then cross your right arm under, eagle arms. And do 5 eagle crunches. Elbows touch the knees and open up. Touch and open for 3, 4, and 5. Unwind it all. Set the soles of the feet down to the mat. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Take a little time here in this figure 4 shape. Again, the hands can thread under the thigh or on top of the right shin. What feels right? And then take it into the eagle legs, left leg over, eagle arms, left arm under. Hold there or add 5 more crunches. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unhook everything. Have the feet as wide as the yoga mat. Take the arms like goalpost. And let both knees fall to the right side. In Yogahour, this one's called double diamond. You want the right foot to try to touch the left knee. That never quite works for me, but it's about that alignment. You could also set the right heel on top of the left outer thigh. A little more depth into that outer hip stretch. Okay, if you have the right ankle on top, set it down, lift the knees, and let them fall over to the second side. And again, we're thinking like left foot right up against the right knee. It's a big internal rotation in that right hip here. You can set the left ankle on the outside of the right thigh, or don't. Okay, release the left ankle if it's on top, both knees back to the center. Give yourself that good squeeze. Shoot your legs straight into the sky. Imagine that you have a wall right back behind the legs, like legs up the wall, viparita karani. Sometimes I like a little tiny lift of the hips, just sit on the hands here. Yogis, if a shoulder stand or some version of shoulder stand, like supported under a block, blankets, works for you, you can change and do that here. The nice thing is just in lifting the legs, getting that elevation of legs over heart, as long as that's not counterindicative for you, you should know. But just lifting the legs, doesn't have to go all the way to shoulder stand to get the benefits of that practice. Stay in your version of legs up for 2 more breaths. And then fold the knees back into your chest. Rock yourself up to a seated position. I've kind of cooled us down, but I've got one more big ask for us. You try crow pose here, Bakasana. So if you come over to all fours and place the hands right under the shoulders, and then change to your feet instead of your knees in a little squat. Like those other times that I said, we're not worried about how we're getting into the pose today, but try the shape of the pose. Go for it. Some of that coming again and again to the new beginning of the practice is knowing that we've actually been here. You can skip some of my instructions and just see how it's coming in for you. Bakasana, feet off the ground, balancing knees onto the upper arm bones. And then sit on your butt and stretch the legs out. Seated forward fold. This real folding of the torso over. Gratitude for your time spent in this practice. The effort that it takes to set the time aside, to move your body. And from that turning to gratitude within, find your final pose. Do you want a seat of meditation today? Would you like to lie down? Do you need just a little more wiggle and one more pose? What is it for you? Find your last. And coming to that physical pose of stillness. And let the eyes be heavy, gaze low or close the eyes. do concentrate on the breath, perhaps allowing the breath to be so long and sweeping in and out that you move from the concentration into a state of meditation. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali would tell us that yoga is the pursuit of liberation. It is, of course, so much more than the physical postures. And yet the physical asana is a wonderful gateway towards this sense of concentration, of withdrawal of the senses to meditation, and towards liberation. If you're lying back and are ready to join me in a seated position, please move that way now. If you'd like a little more time as you're in your space, feel free to stay. Gather the palms over the place of your heart, thumbs to your sternum. Here in Anjali Mudra, as we close this practice on the yoga mat, we can move the practice of yoga out into the day. Do that through the sacred sound of Om. As always, join in, sing, listen, or tune it out. Empty your breath. Deep breath in. Bow from the light within me. I honor that same light within all of you. Namaste.